My name's Amybeth. I'm more, I guess, affectionately known as Research Goddess on Twitter and Skype. So I'm all over the place, and it's not that hard to find me online. I actually have the fun task of making friends for a living. So I get to be a professional matchmaker and find good candidates for the open positions. So I guess we'll just go ahead and dive right into this. I do, on occasion, get to talk to groups of people about what's good to include in their resume and what's good to leave out of it. So if you want to turn to the notes page that you have that says what is the purpose of the resume. And let's start off with that because, if you don't know the purpose of what you're doing, then there's kind of no point in doing it in the first place. Your resume is basically your foot in the door for potential employers. For those of you who are either currently athletes or have played, sports in high school or something, this is your highlight reel. This is your opportunity to brag about yourself. It's one of the few times in your life when it's acceptable to toot your own horn. So toot away. And, you want to talk about your achievements. You want to talk about the accomplishments that you've had in your internships and in your job history. Obviously, you want to list out your specific skill areas and provide your educational background. But remember that the whole interview process is a two-way street that begins with your resume. And as much as the potential employers are going to be looking for a good fit for their company, you're going to be looking for a good fit for your career goals. So the resume is going to be a good way for you to relay that information to potential employers. You want to list out a mission statement or an introduction, which some people also call an objective. You want to make a list of your specific honors, awards, speaking engagements, and so forth. Your education, a chronological work history, and then any additional affiliations, organizations that you belong to, extracurricular activities, and so forth that would be relevant for the job you're applying to. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of your resume, so your work history. Is to have, for each season of the year that you work, 2 to 3, maybe 4 bullet points of your accomplishments, but don't list out your job duties. Avoid that passive phrase responsible for. So, excuse me, a good example of an accomplishment to list under your job experience would be participated in new business pitch with a well-known technology manufacturer by conducting market research. A less grabbing version of that is responsible for client research. That really doesn't tell much about the client that you are working with, or much of anything. So I'll give you an example from my resume. One of the things that I did at Wagner Edstrom was to increase the online presence for Wagner Edstrom's recruiting practice. So one of my bullet points is use social media tools to positively promote the Wagner Edstrom brand to potential employees through daily interaction by designing and launching the Careers with Wagner Edstrom Facebook page and recommending the use of Twitter from a corporate standpoint. And that actually leads into a good formula to remember when you're writing your job experience, which would be the PAR statement: problem, action, result. You're going to, think about the challenge that you came into in your role, how you fixed it, and what the results were from that. The example listed there is improved agency's disorganized contact database by developing a simple but sophisticated coding system. You've identified your problem, which was the disorganized contact database. You've identified the action that you took, which was to develop a simple and sophisticated coding system. And then you've also identified the resulting benefit to your employer, which is saving time and money. And all employers want to know when you've saved them time and money. And some words and phrases to avoid here. Obviously, these are, kind of cliche or passive action phrases: responsible for, experienced, detail-oriented, successful, I mean, excellent written communication skills. You guys are PR students. If you don't have excellent written communication skills by now, you might want to consider a major change. Some words to consider instead, and I don't have them written out here for you, but consider words like implemented or measured or analyzed, created, designed, illustrated, collaborated. These are all kind of grabby action words that are going to get the attention of the person that's reading your resume, as opposed to, I was responsible for research. That's not interesting. So try to use more action words. And I have a PDF document that I can send you that's got a whole bunch of, cool action verbs and phrases that you can use on a resume, of the resume. So your mission statement should give an idea of where you want to go with your career. I don't recommend it be any longer than 2 or 3 sentences, and it should definitely be specific to the job that you're applying to, which means that you're going to have to do a slight rewrite for your resume for each job that you apply to. And it's going to be a little time consuming, but trust me, it's going to pay off in the long run, because employers are going to look at that and they're going to say, okay, this individual has actually read through our job description and they've taken some time and made sure that this was an opportunity that was going to fit with their career goals. Your mission statement shouldn't be multiple paragraphs. If it's getting that long, you should probably put it into the body of an email as opposed to a mission statement, and don't make it too generic. So let's talk a couple of points for some things not to include on your resume. First off, and it pains me to say this, but don't share your references on your resume. That's for a later date. As a recruiting professional, I love it when people provide references on their resumes because it gives me more people to talk to. But you really don't want to alienate the people that have so kindly offered to provide a reference for you. So leave those off until you're asked for them. This also isn't a place for you to laundry list your job duties. Again, this is your highlight reel. This isn't a place for you to talk about your function. This is a place for you to talk about the really awesome things that you have done with your employers. I always encourage people to use discretion when you're listing out your organizational affiliations. My mother always taught me, when in doubt, leave it out. So just take some precaution when you're considering listing out any organizations that are, political, ethnic, or religious, unless you could see that including them would support your job objective. And I highly recommend talking to your professors about listing those kinds of things. The last thing in the world that you want to do is open yourself up to any kind of possible job discrimination by listing those things out. So you're talking to a broad audience, so paint with a broad brush. If you get too specific, you're going to lose some people. So the example that I listed on there was, use fitness instead of using specifics, say you're into mixed martial arts or MMA. Some people don't know what MMA is. So if you list that, it might confuse some people. A lot of people list at the bottom of their resume references available upon request. Well, duh. I mean, that's a duh. That's kind of a given, so you don't even have to include that.